Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Gabby, and the car right behind me is one we didn't expect, but I'm really glad happened. It's the 2026 Hyundai Sonata Preferred with Trend, but it's a hybrid. So when the Sonata got its facelift a few years ago, we had an Inline Ultimate trim level and a Preferred model. You also had the option for a Preferred with Trend plus all-wheel drive. Now, the hybrid is a new addition for the 2026 model year. It's got all the great technology that we see on the Preferred with Trend, regular gas, except we lost the all-wheel drive, but we gained a hybrid powertrain. Now, this specific vehicle does fantastic fuel efficiency numbers, and it also comes with great equipment. Today's video, we're doing a full in-depth walkthrough, pointing everything you get for this price point. With that being said, the price point is not on Hyundai Canada's website, but we just so happen to be a Hyundai store. So it's $36,199 Canadian before taxes and fees. And our lovely sales manager at our Hyundai store also told me the biweekly payment price. So if you guys are curious about financing this vehicle, 84 months biweekly is $290.50, and that is with taxes included. If you guys want to know more about this car, hit us up. We will have all of our links in the bio. And of course, we are a real dealership in Ontario. But enough salesy stuff, let's get into the car. I have a new camera woman today. Her name is Ava, and she is actually the receptionist at our dealership. So be kind to her. This is her first time recording live with us, but I think she'll do a great job. We'll start off with the powertrain and the exterior for the vehicle, and then we'll work our way towards the full walkthrough. Now, I just want to quickly make sure I already mentioned the price point. That's important because you can't find this on Hyundai Canada's website yet. We'll also get into the paint color and the exact trim configuration. Let's start off on the front end. So in true Sonata fashion, we have a beautiful and bold daytime running light expanding all the way across the front end. This creates very wide lines and a ton of road presence on this vehicle. Even though it's not a sporty trim level, the accents on the car scream attention. They demand attention. It gives a lot of road presence, looks very modern and fun. With LEDs, of course, they will last longer than traditional bulbs, so they are more efficient. And visibility-wise, you can't really beat them. They give a great and sharp beam of light. Sorry, I'm losing my words. For our main headlamp over here, you can notice it is also a full LED, and we have intelligent high beam assist integrated into the vehicle. So what that means is as I'm driving and the road starts to get dark, there's no sufficient light around, no street lights and no other cars, it'll automatically turn on my high beams. And then if another vehicle were to start passing, it'll shut them off until it's safe to turn back on again. So it makes you a better driver, or at least a nicer driver. For styling elements, you'll notice we have quite a bit of satin chrome. So it works its way up towards our center line for our grille. And then the grille itself is finished with a gloss black paint. Lots of hexagonal design cues along the lower portion of the grille. I'm just going to take over for Ava to get down. There we go. So wide hexagon-like shapes, expanding all the way across. I love the design of the Sonata. They did such a great job with this car. Now, in terms of technology, we do have smart cruise control standard on this vehicle. And what that means is if I have my cruise control function on, it's not just going to keep me at a speed, it's also going to slow me down if I hit stop in traffic and then take me right back up to speed again. You have 4 different preset following distances to choose from, so you can cycle all of that on your driver's steering wheel. And the car takes a lot of the work off your hands. Again, if you were to hit the brakes, just like a regular cruise control, it'll disengage the system. So it's not going to feel too foreign, but it is a great enhancement off the regular cruise control. You do also have advanced forward collision avoidance assist, as well as lane keeping and lane following assistance, all done by the camera located in the center of your windshield. Today's vehicle is showcased in Abyss Black, which is a beautiful, beautiful glossy black paint shade. I think it complements the bright white LEDs very nicely, and then the satin chrome elements definitely bring a lot of class to the Sonata. You'll notice on the preferred trend on both gas and hybrid, a lot of the design cues are a bit dialed down and more so on the sophisticated side as opposed to the sporty side, where the N-Line will get a lot more red or dark hues. Now, for performance, this vehicle is going to be quite different. We don't have the typical 1.6-liter hybrid powertrain. Instead, we have a 2-liter. And now the output of this powertrain is quite different too. We have about 192 combined horsepower, with 51 horsepower being from the electric motor on its own. And for torque, we're at 139 pound-feet from the engine at 5,000 RPM, and then 151 from the electric motor, and that will be at 1,800 RPM. Realize I didn't pop the hood, so I should probably do that for you guys. A couple of people are asking about Adam. So Adam is off today. He has some family matters he needs to take care of, but don't worry, he'll be back tomorrow. Let's pop the hood and talk powertrain. And again, that is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with a 39 kilowatt electric motor. The electric motor, again, produces 51 horsepower in by itself. Sorry about that noise. We left a couple stickers underneath the hood. You'll find out why that's ironic based off the video we just pre-recorded. Peeling all the stickers off this car. Seems like we missed a few. Again, 192 combined horsepower with 139 pound-feet of torque coming from the gasoline engine by itself and 151 coming from the electric motor. So as far as consumption goes, this vehicle is rated at 5 liters per 100 kilometers, and that is a fantastic number for a vehicle of this size. I will say its direct competitors are the Honda Accord and the Toyota Camry, both of which do have hybrid options. Actually, matter of fact, the Toyota is only available as a hybrid now for the Camry, so that's the only option. This is more efficient than either of those vehicles, rated efficiency-wise. Now, it isn't as quick. The performance numbers aren't as high, but you do get better efficiency. It's at a better price point, and some of the tech, I will say, quite better too. Now, we'll quickly talk about the wheels. I do quite love the wheel design of this alloy. So it is a 17-inch alloy exclusive to the hybrid variation of the Sonata. Beautiful gunmetal finish with machined color elements too, or machined finished elements, I should say. We have a black Hyundai center cap, and then your rotors will be ventilated in the front and solid in the rear. Your tire is an all-season Kumo Solus tire, and again, the hybrid is only available as a front-wheel drive configuration. So Inline Ultimate and hybrid front-wheel drive only. If you're just getting the preferred with trend, regular gas, you can get an all-wheel drive Sonata. On the fenders, we have an integrated signal repeater, so this will flash with the use of your turn signal or your hazard lamps. I'll demonstrate that in a second. So Ava, if you want to stay here, I'm just going to turn on those lights so they can see what it's like when you indicate a lane change. Now, most cars will mount them on the mirror itself. I do quite like how they decided to put it into the body. It's still visible from the side, the rear of the car, and even the front, and it's just different. I think it's a great way to integrate functionality with design. Now that the lights are on, we might as well take a look at the front end too, so you can see the way your hazards or turn signal indicators completely change with your regular DRL light bar. So it'll go from that bright white DRL to this amber indicator light. Absolutely beautiful. You can see the way it tapers off too, how it slowly starts to fade. Alrighty, I think we should talk transmission next. We got a 6-speed automatic transmission. And what's quite cool about this car is we do have paddle shifters mounted onto the steering wheel, but they're multi-purpose. If I'm in sport mode, I can use it to manually change my gears. So go up a gear, down a gear, upshift, downshift, you know the drill. But if I'm in eco mode or any other drive mode, it'll change my level of regenerative braking. If you never owned a hybrid, EV, or plug-in hybrid before, you might not be familiar with regen braking. Let me explain it to you because it's actually very, very cool once you get the hang of it. Basically, when you have a vehicle with regenerative braking, every time you let off the accelerator, even just letting it off, just letting your car coast, or hitting the brake, a big chunk of that slowing down is not necessarily done by your mechanical or friction brakes. It's done by your electric motor spinning in reverse. Now, when this spins in reverse, it creates resistance, which in turn slows your car down, but it also builds back kinetic energy to store in your battery for later use. So, of course, with a regular hybrid like this, you're not plugging it in. It's not an EV or a plug-in hybrid. It simply runs on fuel. But that charge that powers your electric motor, that makes it a hybrid, that all comes from regenerative braking or your engine running. Very, very cool because it minimizes wear on your real brakes, but still slows your vehicle down. So you can really extend the lifespan of your brakes. Some people don't know that, some people do, but either way, I thought I'd share. Now for body lines of the Sonata, it again is a larger sedan. It is the largest sedan in Hyundai's lineup right now, other than the Ioniq 6, largest gas sedan. Beautiful satin chrome lines for your trim, your belt line I should say. And then the window pillars are gloss black. So a dark meets light contrast that looks stunning on a black paint, but it suits every Sonata color quite nicely. Your suspension is a multi-link rear suspension, which handles bumps and, Ontario roads quite nicely. You also have Hyundai's enhancement of their E-suspension. So that is hybrid exclusive, and essentially this vehicle can sense when you're coming into a turn and tune itself in a way to make things a bit more smooth. It also is a bit more sensitive for lower traffic or lower speed situations. So let's say this is your first hybrid. You may be surprised at just how quickly the car is at low speeds. That is because of the instant torque supplied by the electric motor. So this vehicle can sense if you're not really trying to launch your car, you're just trying to back into a parking lot, and make the torque a little bit toned down to handle those normal maneuvers at a normal speed, much more like a regular gas car. For the rear of the vehicle, we have our, again, signals on, so you can see your turn signal position, mounted at a perfect height, not too low on the vehicle, not too high. And then just the design of the taillights in general. They are LEDs and they expand all the way across the rear end, just like our daytime running lights do on the front. You have this glass light bar that houses both just some nice design elements and your reverse lamps. And fun fact, the Hyundai logo is also hidden behind this glass. No one can steal it unless they break the glass. I'm gonna hit the brake so we can see the full brake light illuminate. If you wanna stay there, I'm just going to step on them. There we go. While I'm here, we should probably also turn off the hazards so they don't beep at us and get annoying later. We'll show you the trunk space too. So, although this is a mid-size sedan, in terms of cargo space, it of course will be smaller than an SUV. That's because the opening height is of course going to be limited by the sedan's body shape. We have 441 liters of cargo space, and you can certainly knock the rear seats down if you need more, and no one's sitting back there. Underneath the floorboard, you'll find a gully which does fit a spare tire. However, the vehicle itself comes with a mobility kit from factory. If you're not familiar with the mobility kit, essentially it's an inflator with a separate can of sealant. You put the sealant can on the inflator, plug it into your tire, and then it'll reinflate your tire while also providing that sealant to go sit inside and plug the hole in your car. So if you pick up a nail and you're starting to seep air from your tire, this is a great quick fix to get you back up on the road very, very quickly. No changing a tire involved. But if you do experience a full blowout, of course, this cannot fix that. It's good, though, that you get 5 years, unlimited kilometers of roadside assistance. What can I say? Most hybrids, and I should say most new vehicles, actually don't come with spare tires anymore unless it's a larger SUV or truck. But it's becoming fewer and further between. I'll quickly point out the location of our rear view camera, as well as our tailgate release. Very nice to have a release on a sedan. A lot of vehicles will only have it on the key fob or somewhere by the driver's leg. This makes it easy for you to load your things into the trunk without digging for your key or running back inside your car to push a button. Now for your fuel tank, it is a 50-liter tank, which I'm very, very excited to report, because that means you're not going to spend too long at the gas station waiting for it to fill. That also means pretty cheap fill-ups because it only requires regular unleaded fuel. Not bad. The average fuel cost of this vehicle is estimated at about $1,500 a year. That is the annual cost, of course. Now, is this completely accurate? Really depends on your driving habits. This is estimated with 20,000 kilometers of driving per year, but also your location. Some locations will have higher fuel costs than others, but this is based for Ontario. Close this up, and we will take a look, there we go, at the driver's door card. Now, before I hop in, I'll just quickly point off to what I'd like to show. Up over here, we have our memory seat function. So that's already integrated into the preferred trend hybrid. We have our speaker system. As you can see, 2 saves over here. Your mirrors are also saved to your memory seats, which is quite handy. Down below that, all of your mirror controls, so the left and right toggle, and then the directional. The mirrors are also heated, as well as, of course, electronically controlled. You got your power door locks, express windows for both driver and passenger with regular power windows for the rear, and your window lock button. This vehicle is equipped with 9 airbags, 9 advanced airbags, I should say. And like I mentioned earlier, we do have some advanced safety functions. Oh, hello, I hit my head. We do have some advanced safety functions like our smart cruise control, as well as our forward collision avoidance assist, blind spot detection warning, and rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist. All of those functions will sense the risk of a collision and warn you, with some of them even giving the capability to brake to avoid them. For example, the forward collision avoidance will brake if it senses a risk of impact with a collision, whether that's automotive, so a vehicle, a cyclist, or a pedestrian. And then also for our rear when we're reversing. If it senses a car or pedestrian walking up from behind you and you don't listen to the warning, it will brake to avoid it. Pretty handy. Now, let's talk steering wheel and interior comforts. The steering wheel is a leather-wrapped and heated wheel with 2 different levels of heat. The left-hand side will be for your driver assistance functions. So the top left button will turn on or off our smart cruise control. We'll set our speed with the plus and minus, and then set our following distance with the button on the bottom left. Like I mentioned before, there are 4 different presets. The right-hand side is our lane following assist. So by pressing this button, I toggle the function either on or off, and that will turn on or off the system. Basically, when the system is running, the camera in your windscreen watches the lanes ahead of you and keeps your vehicle centered in your lane at all times. It'll give you gentle steering inputs, so you're not constantly correcting yourself. The vehicle handles that for you. It won't make a full left or right turn, but if there's a bend in the road, it'll follow it, provided the lanes are marked. If you're on a dirt road, it can't do that. Not yet. On the right-hand side, we have our media controls. So voice commands, this could be your Siri or your Hey Google, depending on what kind of phone you have and if it's paired. And then our volume, as well as your phone button and our media modes. The center of the steering wheel has, in Morse code, H. So while it may not be a Hyundai badge, it's still an H, in a way. Up above that, we have our 4.2-inch gauge cluster. So this rectangular section here is the only portion you can actually flip through. And to change the view, you actually just press this button here. So I can look at my tire pressure, my engine temp, as well as my current trip. There's multiple different views here, so you can do since refueling, since last reset, and even the current state of your vehicle. So right now we're in accessory mode. Sorry, I completely forgot the word I was looking for. But if the vehicle was actively running, it'll tell me if it's drawing power from the electric motor or the gas engine itself. There's also our lane safety menu. You'll always have your speedometer displayed on the left-hand side and your tachometer on the right. So that is always in clear view. You can change the theme of the gauge cluster though if you're not a fan of the blue and orange or if you're not a fan of these hash marks. Will say, I wish this car had a full tank. Unfortunately, when I picked it up, it was covered in stickers, mud, and no gas, but it's okay. Anyway, we're on 1 bar of fuel right now, and guess how much we have? 114. That is very impressive, especially considering this is a small 50-liter tank. So my predictions is that this vehicle would probably run you about $55 to $65 to fill up and get you a whole lot of range. If you're someone who does a lot of stop and go driving, a hybrid makes so much sense because when you are at a stop and not going, a lot of the times the vehicle is just going to be sitting in electric mode. That means you're not idling and wasting fuel unnecessarily. Very, very, very convenient. It also kind of becomes a little game driving a hybrid. You can really kind of test yourself to see how much you can run that EV range. Although this vehicle doesn't have a rated allowance of 20 kilometers of electric range like a plug-in hybrid, you can really extend it. So it kind of trains you to be a bit less heavy on the throttle. That being said, even if you are heavy on the throttle, it is going to be far more efficient than the regular Hyundai Sonata. Now, the main screen here, I'll quickly show you guys a quick walkthrough. It's a 12.3-inch full touchscreen display. Conveniently enough, the vehicle just shut off. It's okay though, because we do have a 12-volt battery reset button exclusive to our hybrids. This is pretty much a jump start for the car. So if it senses that our 12-volt battery is starting to be discharged, it'll put it in a standby state where it pretty much kills it, but not really kills it, just preventatively puts it to sleep. And then pressing that button acts as a jump starter, so you don't have to grab your booster cables. Alrighty, so main screen over here, we do have driver profiles. So if you're a multi-driver household, you can have your media, your safety settings, and even your driver seat profiles saved to separate accounts. large icons here making it very easy to navigate, and a dedicated hybrid menu showing you your current usage. This will change as you're driving and illuminate the sections of your vehicle that are currently in use. So if I'm coasting or braking, it'll show the power coming from the wheels to the battery. Ava, do you mind getting the lights back on? Thank you. This also shows our average fuel efficiency, which this vehicle has not really been driven yet. It's got 16 kilometers on it, so that is absolutely not accurate, but that will change, of course, with use. Very cool, especially if you're a first-time hybrid owner, understanding the way your vehicle is working. In terms of technology and safety, all of your active safety functions can be configured from the vehicle's menu here under driver assistance. Over here, if you ever don't like something, you can change it, you can customize it, and all of which will be linked to your driver profile. So if anyone else in your family disagrees, they can change it on their own time. I already mentioned that our paddle shifters are dual purpose, but here's their location. Of course, upshift on the right, downshift on the left, and then also our adjustment for regenerative braking if you are in either eco mode or customizable MyDrive. Underneath our center screen is where you'll find your vents, your push to start ignition, as well as some physical buttons to jump you into your menus, such as your search, map, setup. You can see there's also a volume and a tune knob. For climate control, I love the fact that we have real dials. So it is dual zone, meaning driver and passenger can have separate temps, or we can even do driver only if it's just me commuting. Your front seats are heated and ventilated with 3 different levels for both, giving you great comfort. And then just below, we have USB-Cs, the one on the left for data transfer and connectivity, the one on the right simply for charging. Sorry, data transfer and charging, this one is simply for charging. Lots of space here for things, whatever you choose to put, and then our drive mode select. Over here, you can see we got eco mode, sport mode, and a customizable MyDrive. Over here, we'll also find a little storage compartment perfect for your key fobs, our parking brake or parking hold button, as well as our park view camera. This vehicle only has our rear view, but you can see it is a very high quality camera. Center console, you'll find your cup holders, and then we'll pop this open to reveal a true center console. I like how it's covered. We're actually starting to do away with that in the Hyundai lineup, but this is a true traditional style and a very good size too. I love to see the fact that we already have a panoramic sunroof. So with this open, it really brightens up the cabin space, and just the width and length of it being a full panel roof really makes the cabin feel even more premium. With that being said, I really want to talk about the driver's seat controls, so I'm going to hand the camera back to Ava and walk you through them. So to my left, you can see we have our height adjustment for the seat. You bring it forward, bring it back, and even tilt it to your liking. You also got your backrest adjustment and our lumbar support. Very comfy. It's not just the driver's seat that's comfy, our passenger seat is also powered. We'll take a quick look at that before we hop into the rear seats. Ava, I might grab that from you. Thank you. And let's work our way to the side. I also almost forgot to mention proximity entry. So as long as the key is on you, you simply press this button on the driver or passenger side door to unlock the car. And we also have door handle lighting. I can't get the light in view right now, but this is handy when approaching your vehicle at nighttime. All right, passenger seat has a height adjustment as well as your backrest adjustment. And just like your driver's seat, it is heated and ventilated. Gonna hop into the back seats now. Give Ava the camera. All right, guys, let's take a sit down. Like most sedans, you are gonna drop down a little bit to get into the car. Didn't hit my head this time. Let's go to the far left seat. So these seats, oh, Ava, might be better if you stand outside. But whatever's easier, I don't know. Is that better? Maybe? Here, I might flip this up a little bit. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Perfect, okay. We're so back, you guys. All right, in terms of space for the Sonata, it's a spacious sedan. It is gonna be larger than something like the Elantra. For headroom, we've got a ton of it. It is of course sloped down a bit in the rear, but it's not constricting the way that I'm feeling at all. And because it is a lighter headliner, it also gives the illusion of a more roomy and more spacious cabin. The windows themselves are also not too high to the point where you gotta kind of peek over them. You can see outside with no problem. Windows back here, cars off, of course. Power regular windows. They are not express. The seats themselves are quite wide for the two main ones, and we have rear climate ventilation, as well as dual USB-Cs. So although this vehicle is built off of the Preferred Plus Trend gas model, it does introduce two new functions, one of which is those rear climate ventilation vents, and another is the ambient lighting, which I did not show you guys earlier, but trust me, it is there. We'll do that before we end off today's video. Your center console does drop down, so if you'd like cup holders or an armrest, you do have that option. And then we have car seat tethers for both our two main rear seats. These seats, like I said earlier, do fold down to be almost completely flat, so if you need all the cargo room available, you can do that. The release to do so is actually located in the rear. All right, you guys, now I think that's about it for our walkthrough, other than the ambient lighting, which I got to show you. So I might take the camera back from Ava and do exactly that. Now the ambient lighting is quite cool because it allows an extra level of customization for the car. And that, again, is also synced to the driver profile. So if you and another family member disagree on the best color for ambient lighting, it's okay. You can separate it. You'll find ambient lighting under Vehicle in your setup menu, and then Lights. From here, we will... Where is it? They said it has it. I might have to type in ambient lighting. If not, then Hyundai VPOG lied to me, and you guys saw it here first. Ambient. Oop. It'd help if I spelled it right. Guys, they lied. Okay, so maybe no ambient lighting. Now I will say this vehicle is supposed to have over-the-air updates, so maybe they're bringing it back or bringing it in the future. Other than that, I mean, there's a touch of lighting down here, but I can't really tell if that's just a glow from the USB-C. Yeah, that's definitely just a glow from the USB-C. You know, I tried to crack the code. I tried to make light out of this situation, but it didn't work out. It's not a good way to end off this video, I guess. The drama. All right, we'll take a few minutes to answer some questions. I might just do it from here because I can see them nice and clearly. And I want to see what you guys have to say. And if you're upset about the lack of ambient lighting like I am. A couple hi Avas. Ava, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Do you want to say hi on camera?
Sure, let me see this idea.
Okay.
I'll go in.
So Ava, what do you
Hi.
do here? I don't know if I spoiled it in the beginning or not.
So I am the new reception here for Barefoot Kia, and Gabi just needed help filming, so I did that today.
She volunteered as tribute.
Yes.
So Ava's helping me out today with the recording process. Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to balance the camera and hold the microphone.
Let me hold it for you.
That would be amazing. Thank you. All right, so yeah, Ava helped me out today. Thank goodness. I definitely needed it. Would you recommend this or the Inline? So I think they're two completely different animals. If you are someone who commutes every single day and are sick of paying a ton of money on fuel, probably this, because the Inline will be quite the opposite. But the Inline is going to be more fun to drive, that is. Definitely more performance. Toyota Camry, Sonata Hybrid, or Honda Accord. So those are all the three main competitors. I guess the Nissan Altima would also be up there. All of them are available as hybrids. Now, I will say it really depends on what you're looking for in a vehicle. If you want something that is performance-oriented, the Inline Ultimate version of the Sonata will definitely blow the competitors out of the water, especially because Toyota does not do the TRD Camry anymore. That was discontinued, I think, last year or 2 years prior. So all the Camrys are now hybrids. So if you want something truly sporty, the Inline Ultimate is fantastic. If you just want a hybrid sedan, I think they all offer great options and they all have great value. But it really comes down to what you like as a vehicle, and I'd recommend driving them all. Now, with that being said, Hyundai usually offers a bit better value than their competitors, so in terms of technology and safety, if that's something that is important to you, you might prefer the Sonata much more. It's also going to be a bit more efficient as well, as it's rated at 5 liters per 100 kilometers. I believe the Camry is rated at 5.1 and the Accord is rated at 5.3. Might have to fact check those numbers, but I do know that Hyundai Sonata is the more efficient of the options. Following feedback on previous models, does the 2026 Sonata Hybrid include the reported 6-way power adjustable passenger seat across more than just the top tier trim levels? So unfortunately, I believe the power passenger seat is just on the Trend and the Hybrid. I'll have to fact check that. I don't know if it's available I want to say it is on the Inline if it's on these trims, but I can't say for sure. I'll have to get back to you on that, or we'll have to wait till we get a 2026 Inline. Because apparently we can't fully trust our internal documents, because it did say that this one had ambient lighting. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see no ambient lighting. Womp womp. Daniel said, thanks for the info, we'll test drive them all. There you go. Another thing I will say is sometimes a car can sound so good on paper and so good in your research. The videos are great, it looks good, you love it. But you go to drive it and it doesn't really fit you the way you want. Maybe you're a bit taller, it doesn't really work for the way that you sit and drive. You really got to test drive the cars, you got to see them for yourself. I mean, online reviews are great, they get you situated with the vehicle, but really, it's a car that you're going to drive every day. You got to make sure it fits you and fits your lifestyle. What is the color of that EV9? Wave blue, ocean blue. David said, hello, Gabby and Ava. Great job on the video. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. You're the best. Justin said, is it better to go with the Stinger or get a K5 GT? So, that is a tricky question. Now, if you're in the States, you can get a K5 GT brand new. If you're in Canada, you can't get any of those cars brand new because they're both discontinued. Sucks over here. Now, both cars are also completely different animals. One thing I do quite like about the Stinger is I love the V6 powertrain, and I love the fact that it is all-wheel drive. Here in Canada, I would probably swing for that versus the K5 GT, even though I kind of like the driving feel of the K5 GT more. It also comes down to what your budget is and where you can find these cars. Let's say if you are in Canada, you got to get them used. It comes down to the history of the vehicle. I mean, maybe the Stinger that you're looking at looks good on paper, but you go to see it at the dealership and the body's rough. There's scratches everywhere. There's tons of stone chips. It's, you know, not great. So definitely take a look at both cars if shopping used and get the one that seems better. I'm about to choke, so I think we're going to end off today's video. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.